meeting. Yeah, our testing is also live actually. I'm going to give you the link. So Remy, I'm going to send the link of this in the chat only, here only, on the Zoom, because I have logged out from my WhatsApp account. Yeah, I have just. Yes. Perfect. So I have already shared the link, YouTube link on chat, Remy, on the
On
Zoom
chat.
chat. Zoom chat, yes.
Okay. Okay. I will
Okay.
take it from the Zoom chat, send it to
Yes.
myself.
Yes. 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 And
Okay. Just
yeah, so Juhi, you are ready with this presentation. Once you'll complete this presentation, you will switch disconnect your sharing screen, and then you will start discussion uh, on the profile on the topic, and then the profile, and then hand over to the Remy. Correct?
Sure. Just a quick question, please, sir. I have to share all the three documents when I'm talking about them, right?
No, no, no. You do not need to share a document. Only this
Okay.
PPT, and
Only
after
the
that,
presentation.
yes, yes,
Just
yes.
end the sharing and speak generally. Sure. Perfect.
Okay. So Remy, have you received the link?
yes, I received it and I shared it on my LinkedIn. Do you
Okay.
want me
Very
to
good.
tag you? I will tag you. Okay. I will tag
Yes,
the
you
HRCI.
can tag. You can tag. Yes.
Good morning, Remy brother.
Good morning, Praveen. Good morning. We are already live, so I think I need to cut the video, initial testing video, on the YouTube later.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can make me co-host so that I can add people.
Okay. 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 Just a second. So we are waiting. We'll start adding at the 12:30. Okay. Just a second.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, it's already 12:29. I'm going to make you co-host. Co-host. Perfect. I have done that. Okay. Okay. So let's allow. I'm going to add everybody. Okay. Juhi, I think now your role will start. I will go on mute. We have to welcome everyone. And when after 12:35 approx, we will start with the formal presentation. Correct?
Sure. Sure, sir.
Oh, you're- I think we should here. I think we should start.
Yes. We are just waiting for some people to join. Okay. Yes, let's start.
Sure, sir. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another masterclass from Core HRIR. And I, on behalf of the Core HR team, would like to welcome you all, especially our guest, Mr. Rami Ibrahim. And we'll hand over you the session once we have a little brief about the Core HRIR group and a little introduction to Mr. Rami as well. But still, welcome, Mr. Rami.
Thank you, my dear.
So for many of you who are aware of Core HRIR, you must have gone through this presentation. You know a lot about Veer sir and the team. But just to have an introduction, Core HRIR group is one of the groups for networking, collaboration, sharing, brainstorming, and learning. It's one of the most upcoming already with a network of around 12,000 plus HR professionals. This is a brief about the presentation, a brief presentation for the next 5 minutes that I'm going to take you through to get an insight into what Core HR is and what does it do and what is its vision and mission. We are a group which was established in 2017. And since then, there's no looking back. We have been growing and enhancing the network. As I said, with around 12,000 members plus, working across around 500 companies, Fortune companies. It is a group which is a diversified group wherein knowledge sharing and continuous learning is the main vision and mission. If we talk about in specific, our goal is to bring at one platform all the HRs across and to share the best knowledge sharing and best practices so that this whole community develops and grows and we evolve in dynamics of HR. These are few people. Veer sir, we all know. He has been the heart and soul of the Core HRIR team. We have the rest of the team members who are quite an integral part. And these are the names to share, a few names to share. Core HRIR is not just limited to just doing online sessions or master classes. It has deep-rooted a lot of other sessions. This is just one glimpse of it. Let me take you to the journey so far. So we have all these different categories which are there under one umbrella of Core HRIR. Learning weekends, Chai Buddies, HR Co-Connect, HR Awards, masterclasses, getting certification and assisting in training for the SPHRI certification, which is Senior Professional Human Resource Certification. So these are few areas where Core HR has diversified and they are really doing well, which engages the HR and brings them all on a one common platform. These are few members from which there are a lot of HRs who are a part, and these are the various the brand names, I would say, who have been associated with Core HRIR. And this is just to name a few. The list is pretty long. These are few glimpses which will give you an idea that how we are engaged, how deeply, how formal yet informal collaboration and networking is there with the HRs. It is a fun session along with the learning. And these are the glimpses which help you, which would give you an idea. These are the glimpses from the Chai Buddy series. These are from the Leadership Summit, just to let you know to what extent Core HRIR has gone and how it is reached so far since 2017. HR Shining Awards, the Mega HR Conclave. These are the these are the various glimpses from the HR masterclasses. On a regular basis, the Core HR group ensures that various diversified topics are covered in these masterclasses, and the learned people and the expert from that particular segment take up the masterclasses, and our HR group of people get to learn and practice them, put them into practice in their own daily work life. Just another glimpse of the Core Learning Weekend. This is a glimpse of the various, just few names. The list is very long for the Senior Professional Human Resource Certification, the International Certification, SPHRI. It is an international recognized certification, and this is across levels from middle levels to senior levels. And this is something which Core HRIR is the one of the members where in India who is actually the service provider, authorized service provider for this certification. So just to sum up the whole, that our Core HRIR and why you should be a part of it, or why this should attract you or impress you, is because we are a collated place, one place where we have networking, we have knowledge sharing, we have ways in which we have built up an HR community where you can share, you can come up with doubts and solutions at one place. And of course, this will definitely, all this knowledge sharing and networking will definitely help you grow in your workplaces. So that is all about Core HRIR. And do follow us on all the social media handles, be it in LinkedIn, Instagram. And here is a group picture, happy faces. And I'm sure by the end of this presentation, you have also had a knowledge about Core HRIR if you were not aware of it. So thank you. I'll just stop sharing my screen. Yes. So just moving ahead to the session for today. Welcome, everyone. Today's session, as in the beginning, I shared, that would be taken up by Mr. Rami Ibrahim. He himself is an SPHRI certified. The topic for today's session is workplace intelligence, and it would be talking about not only just the HR, we always study HR, but how do we quantify and measure and analyze whatever we are doing. Throughout my career, and everybody, we have been studying that data. But the data is useless until it is analyzed and studied in a proper manner. So there would, Mr. Ibrahim would throw some light into it. The session would start shortly in another 5 minutes once I introduce him formally to all of you. Post that, he would be introducing us. The session is from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m., a 3 hours long session, which will include understanding HR matrices, understanding how to measure the matrix and analysis, how to analyze them, studying the KPIs, studying the reliability and validity in HR matrix, and the practical application of why we need to study the HR matrix and do analysis, HR analytics, the relevance of HR analytics and HR matrix in today's world, and then how to create reports and interpret the reports. So we look forward to this, Mr. Ibrahim. And just to add on that this is a 3-hour session, and Mr. Ibrahim, who is there with us, is one of the renowned professional into this field, an HR consultant and international HR expert. And he has been into the industry for over 20 years now, with worked in various capacities like consultant, trainer, certified assessor, a coach, and of course, an HRCI ambassador as well. So there is a lot to learn from the experience of 20 years. And we really look forward for the session, Mr. Ibrahim. And I won't take much of your time. All over to you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you so much for these sweet words. I do not know how to thank you and thank Veer for giving me this great opportunity to be with you today. I would like to welcome every and each body here inside the meeting, because it was fantastic to meet with Veer yesterday and hear that we are having about 200 participants or registered for this meeting. This is a wonderful number, because when it comes to speaking about how can we use analytics in the field of HR, it's really interesting, because we all of us nowadays hear about the AI, analytics, data. How can we merge all this together in order to serve our companies in the best way? And this is, we are going to speak about at a fast, because 3 hours will not be enough to cover all these topics, but I promise that I'm going to deliver something enough for you to build your way to start using the data and build on it when you are in your work environment. Thanks again. I have two objectives when I come to this session. The first one is to making you pass a very nice time, enjoy it. Then I promise that by ending this session, you are going to have something that you can apply when you're returning back to your job. And this is an agreement that I am going to put into place during this session. You are going to enjoy, and of course, you can participate together. The second part is you are going to carry something and you are going to apply it by returning. I would like to welcome all participants from all over the globe, because as I heard from Veer that we are having participation from all over the globe, from Saudi Arabia, from Egypt, from Emirates, from Iraq, from Kenya, from all over the globe, from Kazakhstan. I hope that I did not forget anyone. You are all welcome, and I can provide an interpretation for what I said in Arabic if you would like to do me so. So أنا ممكن أقدم شرح بالعربي لو كان مطلوب كده، فقط لو في حد عايز ترجمة للعربي. If you want me to translate the session into Arabic, I can easily do so, because as I've been informed from Veer that we are having lots of participation from Arab countries, as I mentioned, Egypt, KSA, UAE, Iraq, and so on and so forth. Let's start and begin by sharing the screen. I think the screen is visible now on you. You can see the PowerPoint, right? Okay, it's visible. So this is a quote that I keep in my mind when I'm working in the analytics, that what gets measured gets done. If you are measuring your progress, it's easily improved. What gets done will get rewarded. Of course, if you do not reward your employee in doing what was required, this is nothing. And what gets rewarded gets repeated. This is a simple 3 steps that we need to follow as an HR manager in order to make our people and colleagues successful in doing their job, by measuring their success, by rewarding the successes, and then the successes will repeat and it will be maximized. We are going first of all to speak about the 3 steps into converting the normal workspace into driven by analysis and matrix. The first thing, that the tabulation. We need first to tabulate the data, to capture the data and store it in a tabulated manner. We mean by this, we are having employees, data reports, performance management, gender equity, equity and inclusion. We are having lots of data in our organization. If we do not start by tabulating the data and capturing the data and tabulating it, we cannot go to the second step. So the first step in dealing with data will be capturing data, storing data, and tabulating the data. This phase is called the measurement phase. We are going to have a tabulated data. We can depend on it. We can know exactly the number of women if we can compare it to number of men. So we can easily calculate the gender equity. This is the first part. We can capture the data about our youth employees. So we can note to what extent our workplace is energetic and ready by having youth. People with disability. So to what extent our workplace is inclusive and welcoming. This is the first part that we need to start by capturing data and storing it. To have the measurement. Measurement is translated into Arabic as qiyasat. We are just having an understanding about to what extent we are able to attract people. The second phase is matrix. We are starting to depend on comparing 2 sorts of data to get a result. We mean by this, by comparing number of female colleagues to the male colleagues. So we can get better understanding about to what extent we were able to attract diversified candidates from both gender. Then we can compare the income to the revenue, to what extent we are profitable. so that we need to compare by capturing the data. We are having proper data, so we can start comparing the data so that we can get results. The results will make clear idea about how was our past outcomes and how we're successful in performance, so that we can get ideas about the turnover, about the diversity, equity, and inclusion, about the gender equity, about the environmental sustainability, profitability, cost reduction, and so on and so forth. Then the last phase, which is putting analytics into decisions. We mean by this that the organization is adult enough, it's mature enough to depend in all decision on data, so that we are converting data into a data support or decision support. In this field, and in this era or in this stage, the organization will depend heavily on the reports extracted from numbers and comparing numbers to make a decision. This is the analytics phase, where we are depending on the dashboards, where we are depending on the extracted report to build our decision. Let's say that we decided to make a sound increase in the salaries. We need to compare our salaries to the market, to the prevailing rate, which is called the compa ratio. Can any one of us remind me what is the compa ratio? I hope this is one of the basic metrics that we keep using, even in Arabic, by the way, because I know that we have some colleagues from Arab countries. الكompa ratio أو مقياس المرتبات. ممكن حد يقول لنا? Can you help us? What is the compa ratio?
So it's hi, this is Monica. So compa ratio is
Welcome, Monica.
yeah. So compa ratio is a median, like what is the company median and what is the market median. So it is the ratio between them.
Excellent. But can we use the compa ratio for our internal equity, or is it used only for the external equity? What you mentioned, Monica, is that we are comparing the average salaries for our organization for the prevailing salaries at the market,
Yeah.
which reflects the external equity, right? To what
Yes.
extent our organization is matching, lagging, or leading the salaries in the market. Am I right here, Monica? Did I get you right?
Yes.
Okay. But can we use the compa ratio to discover the internal equity? We mean by this to what extent we are equitable when dealing with our employees inside the organization?
This can be the base, but ideally not completely, but in my opinion, this can be one of the base to compare it.
Okay, allow me to say a story. I love the stories. By the way, when I'm delivering lectures, I prefer to use stories because the stories will make the topic inside your mind easily. There is no effort needs to be exerted. So, Rami is one of your students, is one of your employees, right? I'm working in the customer service. I come to your office and I'm complaining that my salaries is not sufficient, my salaries is not enough. But you take my salary range, my salary, and compare it to the midpoint for the salary range inside your organization. And I found that the compa ratio for me comparing to my colleagues inside the organization is 120. So what can we conclude from this? What is the conclusion?
That the employees is getting higher salary by 20%.
Can I disagree with you?
By 20%. His salary is as per base rate, he is getting 20% higher than what is market rate or the base rate.
We're not speaking about the market, my dear. We're speaking inside the organization.
Yeah.
According to what I mentioned to Monica, I came to her office to complain that my salary is not enough. So Monica took my salary and compared it to the average point for the salaries of my colleague inside the organization, not outside the market. So the result was I'm getting 120%. The compa ratio for me is 120%. so that the internal equity issue, as Harry mentioned, thank you, Harry, for mentioning this in the chatting. I'm getting 20% higher than the average point for my colleagues inside the organization. So that there is no need, Rami, to complain because you are getting 20% higher than your colleague. So Monica can easily say to me, this is not right, Rami, you are not complaining for a good reason, right or wrong? So by depending on comparisons, using data and using numbers, we can easily solve majority of our problems with our colleagues or our employees, because it's simply done by analyzing data. Another tool, let's say that Maria come to my office complaining that she is not treated fairly by her employee, by her manager. And she said that, don't you know, Rami, our organization is the top all over the country. If we are speaking about the insafety and insecurity, we are insecure place. She mentioned that due to her problem with her boss, that our organization is reported as an unsafe place for work. The best thing that I can do in this is taking the reported problems between managers and the employee and benchmark it against the other reported issue in another organization. Then I can easily get a data. We have only 2 reported problems between subordinate and a manager, while the other organization reported 4 incidents between manager and employees, so that we are 50% lower if we compare it to our competitor. This means that we are more safe than our competitor, right or wrong? What's your opinion? Agree or disagree?
Yeah.
So that by comparing and issues like gender equity, like environmental sustainability, like internal equity or external equity, we need to have numbers in place. And as I mentioned before, the first step to build our system, which will be based on numbers, is to first capture the data and tabulate it, which is measurement phase. The second thing is transforming the data into matrix by comparing 2 data to each other, 2 pieces of data to each other to come up with a matrix. Then I'm going to construct reports, or which is currently set to be the dashboard, and the dashboard is going to be a decision supporting tool. So I'm going to the highest level, which is the analytics. So far, so good. Did any one of our Arab colleague want me to transfer to Arabic? أي حد من أصدقائنا العرب يحب نقلب للعربي نشرح حاجة؟ إخواتنا العرب اللي حاضرين معانا تحبوا نقلب عربي؟ Okay. Thank you so much. As Deepak said, compa ratio varies from baseline, minimum 20%, maximum 20%. Yes, this is totally acceptable if we would like to speak about the internal equity versus the external equity. This is acceptability range. Thank you for mentioning this in the chatting. Now I would like to move to the other part, which is the KPIs. From your opinion, what are the KPIs? We keep hearing that KPIs, KPIs, KPIs. What are the KPIs? I want the simplest possible definition for the KPI. Just give me the definition come to your mind. I know that you are all experts. It's very simple. Key performance indicator.
The performance indicators are primarily the numerical value of one's performance as per the benchmark set or as per the standard defined in the key responsibility area.
Excellent. This is available in the key.
Which tells the person or the appraiser or the person himself, the employee himself, whether he is about that benchmark on the higher side, on the lower side, and in what range. Typically defined in a numerical term and percentage. Yes.
I love the definition. This is totally acceptable. So that we are HR people, right? And at the top of our performance appraisal, raise the awareness of company's products. How can we measure this? Improve employees' engagement. Improve employee satisfaction. Improve productivity. How can we measure that we were able to improve people awareness, improve people engagement satisfaction, improve the productivity? This is not measurable. How can we go inside the mind of our people and measure the awareness? How can we do so? By using the KPIs. Okay, let's say that my manager say, Rami, you need to improve the awareness, the product awareness by 50% this year. I can inform him, how can I do so, Adil? This is very difficult. By using the KPIs in place. KPIs might be translated by having people performance result. Yes, Brianka, this is excellent. We mean by performance, let's say that we are having people to be tested for product awareness. If people scored at least 80% in the product awareness test, so Rami did his job. This is a KPI. By having people at least score 80% in the product awareness test. This might be a KPI. But how can we measure the people in engagement and satisfaction? This is emotional side. How can I measure the attachment of people to their workplace? I would like you to participate, by the way. I didn't come here to only to speak because I want to gain your insights.
So when we talk about engagement, so this can also be measured. For example, how is our attrition ratio going on? Okay. And there are other things as well, the retention ratio. And
Excellent.
so what was the previous
Excellent.
one and what is the now of post taking her activity?
Allow me to take, first of all, Deepak mentioned, I think that I pronunciate the name right, Deepak, D-E-E-P-A-K, Deepak Gilot. Am I right? Okay. Mention that the objectives and the smart objectives can be taken as a KPIs. Allow me to disagree with you because after 2 minutes, I'm going to differentiate between the objectives and the KPIs. And I'm going to take from my colleague answer to differentiate between 3 sorts of KPIs. We are having efficiency KPIs, effectiveness KPIs, and a result KPI. When we are speaking about turnover KPI, it's a result KPI. We mean by result KPI that the final reflection of the HR's duties and responsibilities on the human resources of the organization or the human factor or human capital of the organization, that they stop quitting the job. So this is a result KPI. While we are having efficiency, to what extent I was efficient when it comes to dealing with the resources, like time to hire and cost per hire. This is an efficiency KPIs. But also I'm having effectiveness KPIs. Effectiveness KPIs when I'm dealing with the qualitative measures, like the emotional side, attachment to the organization, like the questions I mentioned. The question I mentioned is, to what extent people are satisfied in the organization. We need to measure the degree of attachment or the degree of the emotional engagement, so that we are speaking about what? We're speaking about effectiveness. So that for the KPIs, it's not merely one sort, it is multiple sorts. Like, if we would like to speak about time, money, and time spent and the money and quality, we're speaking about efficiency. But if we would like to speak about the effectiveness, we need to speak about the emotions of the customer or even the employees. But we are having another sort, which is the productivity. Engagement is how may say good of your company want to stay and strive their good. Thank you, Kanu, for the definition. So that, and now I would like to differentiate between the objectives, the SMART objective, and the KPIs. Objectives needs to be translated into KPIs to have specific time and to have specific amount of achievement. Let's say that my manager informed me, Rami, you need to raise the awareness. Yes, by certain percent. Yes, by 20%. But is it acceptable? Yes, this will be nice for the organization. But how can we measure this? We can measure this by having the awareness test. But when is the result will appear at the end of the year? So that we are transforming the objective into a KPI. So as a simple definition, KPI is objective by having a certain number of achievement or a certain target at a certain time. This is the real definition of the KPI. And as Parmenter mentioned, KPI represent a set of measures focusing on those aspects of organization performance, okay, that are the most important for the current and the future success organization. So we're speaking about what? We're speaking about efficiency, effectiveness, and also objectives and goals. My friend Deepak asked me a very nice question. What is the difference between objective and goals? Before I'm giving you the answer, I would like to ask my colleagues, what is the difference between objectives and goals? From your opinion, maybe ask Google first.
Well, for the objectives and goals, it's similar. Some theory think that the objectives are the same as goals. However, other theories making the goal is the main thing for the company, and you cascade the objective from the main goal. So it depends which theory that you are following.
Thank you, Sally. By the way, Sally, my friend from Egypt, I would like to say أهلا وسهلا يا سالي منورة الدنيا. شكرا
Thank you,
ليكي.
ليك. ميرسي يا دكتور.
I would like to say it in a simple way. What we are speaking about a cascading issue from top to down. From top to down means cascading from the strategic of the organization, from the strategic direction of the organization to the tactics for the middle management until we are going to the employee, him or herself. We are going to find the objective, so that the objective is the current part of the strategy of the organization. We need to achieve in the current year opening 5 or 10 branches, because the strategy of our organization is expanding all over the globe. We need to open about 100 branches in the 5 continents, so that the current part of the strategy is just opening 10 branches in Asia. This is the objective, and this is the strategy, and this is the goal. The strategy is the largest part, which will govern the organization for the coming 5 years, while the goal is the tactic part, which is the middle term, which is the transformation of the large and the wide scope into a middle scope and into a 3 years term or maybe 2 years, while the objective is the current year. Because if we are going to speak about employees, do we speak about objectives or goals? What's your opinion?
So I guess the objectives are the subset of the larger part, which is goals, right?
Yes.
So you have goals on the top and then cascading into the objectives, surrounded by, of course, specific goals, and then we have specific strategies coming into play. These terms are, by the way, very interchangeably used across the board, and people have derived different meanings out of it. But going by the theory and all, to me, it appears that goals is the bigger thing. Under that, we have objectives coming into play?
Thank you so much for the interpretation and the illustration. I would like to say it in a scientific term to differentiate between the three terms. The strategy, which is the largest, and the longest. We mean by largest, we are speaking about the organization as a whole. We are speaking about the longest possible period. We are speaking about the 5 to 10 years, and we are speaking about the entire organization all over the globe. This is the strategy. Strategy is cascaded into goals. Goals is the tactics. We mean by tactics the middle range. We are speaking about specific area. Let's say that the MENA region, which is Middle East, North Africa. This is the tactics, which is the translation of the strategy into a middle range. This is the goals. While the objectives is the current part. We are speaking about a specific region. Let's say Egypt, let's say KSA, let's say UAE. We're going to speak about specific country for 1 year. This is, and I know that it's common in the market to be used interchangeably. Objectives might be used as a goals, and the goals might be used as objective. But as an HR professional, we need to differentiate between the three terms. Until now, so far so good. Please, if you would like to ask a question, just raise a hand. And if you would like me to continue, just put one on the chatting. I'm waiting for your ones, or I'm waiting for the raised hand. Please proceed. Thank you. Thank you, Sally, also. So that I can conclude that I have only 2 participants who answered me. Where are the rest? Okay. Thank you so much. On the board, we can say the most commonly used, thank you, Tijas, the most commonly used KPIs for the HR function, for the manufacturing function, for the sales and marketing function, for the information technology function. For the KPIs and the HR, we can easily find the turnover rate, time to fill, employee satisfaction, training completion, and the absenteeism rate. These are the most common parts of the human resources KPIs. We are going to find them in more than 90% of our daily meetings, on our daily reports. To what extent we are able to make people stay or improve the retention thresholds. To what extent we were able to reduce the time to fill. By the way, time to fill, as I mentioned before, is efficiency KPI, while employee turnover is a result KPI. Employee satisfaction is effectiveness KPI. Training completion as efficiency, effectiveness, or a result. I'm waiting for the opinions from the HR professionals. Lead and lag indicator. Thank you, Kanu. This is another great concept. Result. Let's agree to disagree. This is not a result. The result may be the ROI, effectiveness, right? This is an effectiveness KPI. Okay, let's mention that the effect of training on the performance is a result KPI, while training completion is the effectiveness. To what extent my employee enjoyed the training, to the extent that completed to the end. It's widely used if we are speaking about the online training. Training completion rate. Absenteeism rate is result, effectiveness, or efficiency. I just want you to participate, guys. I do not want to keep speaking. Where are my Arab fellow? Where are the Egyptians? Where are the Saudis? Where are the Emirati? I would like to hear Arab voice here. Effectiveness. This time I'm going to disagree with you. This is a result KPI, but it might need more investigation to declare what are the root cause for the absenteeism, because the absenteeism, despite of being a result KPI, it might indicate that we are having a poor management in place. We are having harassment in place. We are having something mistake in place due to something. We are having unsafe place, so that we need to continue investigating the high absenteeism rate. So that we need to use the KPIs to get better understanding and to search for clues for our workplace. Of course, for manufacturing, we are having the OEE, overall equipment effectiveness, to what extent we were effective in using our equipment, production lead time, to what extent we were able to meet the time of production, defect rate, to what extent we were able to maintain our equipment. Can you differentiate between result and effectiveness KPI once more? Sure. I'm going to get, but please, what is the right pronunciation of the name? Akshay, am I right? Akshay, you right? I would like to pronunciate it, but it needs little training. So I'm begging you pardon if I pronunciate it wrong. I'm very sorry. But you are too welcome, my dear. The effectiveness KPI, we are going to speak about qualitative or non-measurable or intangible aspects. Okay, this is an intangible part. We need to relate it to a tangible part in order to get a result. That means that the amusement or the enjoyment for the training is what is intangible. We need to link it to a tangible part, which is completing the training as a clue or as a declaration that you enjoyed the training. This is the effectiveness. While the result, what was the reflection of the training on the productivity, on the sales, on the reduction of cost? Did you get what is the difference between the effectiveness measurement or the effectiveness KPIs and the result KPIs? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's go back to the manufacturing defect rate. To what extent my organization was successful in keeping the maintenance at time, so that we are having the minimal defection. Inventory turnover, to what extent I was able to manage the inventory. On-time delivery rate, to what extent my operation team was able to deliver products at time. Sales and marketing, revenue, conversion rate, customer acquisition cost. What is the customer acquisition cost? We need to put it into place when we are dealing with the sales and marketing group. What is the customer acquisition cost? I want participation. It should not be right or wrong. It's just your participation. Okay. How much it will cost me to acquire a new customer? According to the marketing campaign, Facebook campaign, LinkedIn campaign, free sample distributed, how much time and effort this is in money terms it takes to acquire a new customer. Excellent, Kanu. This is right. We are having another term, which is customer lifetime value. What is the customer lifetime value from your opinion? May I ask you to open the mic and share the thoughts? I enjoy reading but I would like to feel that we are physically attached, and I can easily do so by hearing your voice, because your voice is like music to my ears. I can easily read it. Allow me. Okay. Key response areas. Okay. This is a very long how much customer given value in terms of SOP your company gets from a customer. Yes. From the moment the customer entered the branch to open an account, if we are speaking about banking, by the way, I have a banking background. My background is banking. So that the majority of examples that I'm going to give is from the banking industry. So that let's say that we are in a bank, and the client entered the bank to open an account. This is the birth date of the customer. Until the last moment, the customer decided to close the account. How much money did I gain from this customer? $1 million, $1,000. It's a matter of average, because one client, an affluent client or a premium client, might make you gain $1 million in the lifetime, while another customer might make you gain only $1,000. So it will diversify according to the affluency, or according to the al-mala' al-maliyya, as we say it in Arabic. Al-mala' al-maliyya means to what extent you are having enough money. Market share. Market share, Veer, you need to say something?
Yes. So I request HRCI certified professional to contribute to the discussion. There are many people that I can see: Saini, Gurvinder, Praveen, Juhi, all the people, Deepak even. I request everybody to please participate into the discussion. Just raise your hand, at least, post in the chat. Thank you. Please go ahead, Venu.
Thank you, Veer. Thank you. Okay. Information technology. Average incident response time. This will declare the efficiency of the IT team to respond timely to the outages. Number of unplanned outages. To what extent my IT team was able to be proactive to maintain our network without outages. Amount of network bandwidth used, to what extent I am safe if it comes to bandwidth or usage of the network. Percentage of IT budget of total revenue. These are examples of, thank you for all people commented on the screen. As I'm totally happy to hear your voice, because this is an interactive session, and as I mentioned before, your sound is like music to my ears. Okay. Let's go to another term if we would like to speak about metrics and analytics. What is the difference between reliability and validity? Allow me to say a story. As I mentioned before, I'm coming from a banking background. The majority of my experience was in the banking sector. So that if we would like to attract new member to join a bank branch, is it acceptable to examine the new colleague or the new candidate in a pharmaceutical aspect? What is this set if we are going to give a pharmaceutical test for a candidate in a bank? Is it valid or not valid? Exactly.
Not valid.
This is not valid. So this is the simplest term that I can describe the validity. It is not valid. Rami, this is insane. He is not a pharmacist. Why shall you not valid? Thank you, Ashish. As Ashish mentioned, you are examining Mark. Mark is an accountant. You are examining him against what's said to be pharmaceutical. This is not valid. So the exam returned it back to me, and I'm going to redo the exam to be accountancy. I'm examining Mark against accounting. But while I'm doing the accounting test, I made 3 mistakes. Can you depend on the result that is that's as a result from this test? Is it dependable? The test is mistaken. Can you depend on this result? No, because there is the exam is misstated. The accounting terms and the exam is wrong, so that it's not reliable, so that we cannot depend on the results. This is the simplest way we need to differentiate between reliability and validity. Validity is that I'm measuring what was intended to measure. I'm measuring what was in the right for the organization. Reliability, a watch may show some time every day, which may not valid. Validity is watch giving consistency. Allow me to say it. Thank you, Kanu, for sharing this on the chatting. Allow me to say it in more simple way, if I may. What is being measured is the validity. Let's say that my organization strategy for the coming 3 years is customer acquisition, but I am focusing on profitability. Is this against validity or against reliability? I will repeat it another time. My organization strategic direction for the coming 5 years is improving customer base. We need to gain more customers. We are not focusing for the coming 5 years on profitability. And me as an HR director, I'm focusing on the profitability. Reliability is consistency, while validity is accuracy. I can agree with you, Juhi. This is acceptable. Okay, let's put what Juhi mentioned in an HR term. Your organization needs to improve the client base. And you are, as an HR professional, you are focusing on profitability. So you are not aligning with your organization. This is not valid. You might measure the profitability per employee in a right way, but this is not what needs to be measured. So it's reliable, but not valid. Okay. After a session or after a meeting with my CEO, I decided to measure what my organization wants me to measure. My organization wants me to measure client acquisition, and I started to measure the effort of the team to acquire customers, but I measured it in mistaken way. So my measurement or my calculation is not reliable. Is it because it's valid? I'm measuring the data that the organization wants me to measure. Yet I'm measuring it in improper way or in a mistaken way. So the data is not reliable despite it is valid. This is the simplest way to differentiate between reliability and validity. So that what's being measured is validity. Is the measurement correct? Is the reliability? The importance is valid, reliable information allow for the objective, constructive situation. Type, if I improved my calculation to measure what was intended to measure and measure it in the right way, and I provided the CEO with a proper measurement, reliable and valid, so that the organization can take the measurement and depend on it when they are going to make a decision. This is the role of the HR in making the analytics. Please, if you understand or grasp what I mentioned, just write one on the chatting. If you would like me to repeat something, please raise your hand. I'm waiting for the ones or for the questions. Thank you. Only Shweta. Okay, thank you, Juhi. Thank you, Matthew. Matrix for human resources. As I mentioned before, the importance of measuring and evaluating effectiveness of HR function to maintain HR's strategic position in our organization. As we mentioned before, the HR needs to be a strategic partner in an organization. We need to have a chair on the round table of the meetings. We need to keep the strategic participation so that to maintain our strategic position, we need to give an insight for the organization about our direction. This can be easily achieved by having the matrix in place, by having a complete dashboard. And the other thing that the matrix and analytics is going to provide me is to improve performance. I'm going to improve the performance of my team and the organization as a whole. So that, as I mentioned before, the strategic role is captured, is gained there, because people and the organizations and companies think that the HR people have only operational and paperwork. And we need to put into consideration that we are not operations, we are a strategic partner. So that to maintain the strategic position in an organization, we need to be a strategic partner. And to be a strategic partner, we need to add value. To add value, we need to keep eye on numbers. Effective implementation of the evaluation process and data, focusing on identifying outcomes and measuring, quantifying results. We need to quantify results instead of activities. We need to put an eye on the results matrix. We mean by the results matrix that what is the reflection of the HR effort on the company performance. We need to measure things correctly, and we need to measure the correct things. To measure the correct things, this is the validity. To measure correctly, this is the reliability. I hope that everything is so far so good. Nice? Okay. HR matrix can be used to do the trend analysis. What is the trend analysis from your perspective? I'm waiting for you. What is the trend analysis from your perspective? Trend analysis is just a comparison of my job for the current year to the previous years. This is the trend analysis. Compare to matrix from previous years, evaluated whether the organization performance is improved or declined, so that I can compare my ability or my time to hire, my cost per hire, my retention rate, and so on and so forth, current year with the previous years. This is the trend analysis. How a particular metric is behaving over. Thank you, Kanu. This is a perfect definition for the trend analysis. To keep track of my result on years, as Kanu mentioned. The second part show the benefits of HR practices and how HR professionals contribute to the organization, which is that strategic partnership. To what extent I'm partnering or I'm adding value for the organization. And as I mentioned in the previous slide, if you would like to gain a share in the SMT or a senior management team, you need to add value for the organization. This can easily be achieved by having perspective and understanding for the organization. And the third part for the importance is the benchmarking. From your opinion, what is the benchmarking? Is it the same term like the trend analysis?
Well, I think the benchmark is evaluating myself with the market. So to know where am I in the middle or the highest or where I am.
Shukran ya Sayedi. Thank you.
Mr. Rami, benchmark can also be internal and external. You may have a process benchmark, you may have a result benchmark, you may have people benchmarks.
Excellent.
External is a goal comparative with an organization in terms of growth. It could be in terms of how an organization overall performs with respect to the investor profiles.
Excellent. And this is, as I mentioned before, this is excellent and like music to my ears. And I would like to add something. We can benchmark against industry specific and against the entire country or against the global benchmark, which will lead the organization to go for the globalization field. Because what is the global benchmark in terms of retention rate? It might be, let's say 5, 10, 12, any percent. Am I able to do so that if I would like to build corporate branding I can depend heavily on the result of the matrix and analytics. I can mark it for my place as a one of the best place to work for. Do you know what are the best places to work for? This is a competition made every year between workplaces to compare between organizations, institutions, and so on and so forth. What are the organizations that is considered meet the criteria of best place to work? By having matrix and analytics in place, I can easily say that I'm matching or I'm benchmarking myself among the places that is considered best place to work for. So that I'm building the corporate branding for recruitment. So that the analytics will give me a hand if I'm speaking about recruitment and attraction. What we are going to do is passing by some famous matrix and analytics that is accredited and that is used commonly by the consultancy firm and by organization itself. The first one is the absence rate. This is measuring the absenteeism. As I mentioned before, absenteeism is a result part, but it might declare that I'm having a problem in a specific area in the organization, and I need to put an eye to understand what is the problem. How can we measure absenteeism? Absence rate can be easily measured by number of days absent, okay, in the month, divided by average number of employees during the month multiplied by workday. Can anyone give us an example? I'm happy to hear. I'm waiting. Okay. I can share with you a story. Let's say that we are having 20 absent days per month, and we are having 100 employees in place. Okay, there are numerous metrics available how to decide which shall be included in a report and what shall be left. This is an extremely excellent question, Shital. This is excellent question. The first thing that I need to do when I'm deciding which to use, which not to use, is to ask myself, what is the direction of my organization nowadays? Is it for the profitability? So I need to measure the reflection of employees, which is the human capital value added, human capital ROI, or on opening new accounts and gain market share. What is the part that the organization is interested in to be aligned with the organization? This is the first part. The second part, I would like to ask myself, what are the data available in my organization? Do I have the entire stuff of the data so I can use the metric that so that how can I align with the organization? This is the first part. And what can I do to produce a metric? I hope that I provided you with the answer. Okay, Shital? Thank you, Medir. So that let's revert back to the absence rate. The absence rate is by dividing number of days absent during the month multiplied by average number during the month multiplied by workday. Let's say that we are working the entire month. The 30 days of the month are working days. And we are having 100 employees in place. We are having 20 employees absent during the month. So we are going to divide 20 absenteeism during the month over 100 multiplied by 30. So that we are going to divide 20 over 3,000 multiplied by 100. So that who can calculate the metric for us? What is the result? Please write it down to the chatting.
Absenteeism percentage?
What?
Absenteeism percentage?
Yes, the absenteeism percentage. And the example I mentioned, we are having 20 absenteeism case. We are having 100 employee in the workplace, and we are having 30 working days in a month. What will be the absenteeism rate? It's a matter of simple calculation. We are going to add. Allow me to open my. It's 0.66667. 0.6777. This is the resultant of dividing 20 over. No, it's 20 over 3,000. This is the absence rate. So, is this data reflect high absenteeism rate or low absenteeism rate? From your opinion, does it reflect high absenteeism rate or low absenteeism rate? Are you sure, Kanu? This is high one? From my opinion, it's low. As Shweta said, it might be low. Allow me to say that we cannot say whether it's high or low if we do not compare it to our achievement for the previous year and our achievement compared to the other companies' achievement, which is the benchmarking. So that having a solid number is not enough. We need to compare it to the achievements or the results of the other companies to benchmark ourselves against the market. Then we need to compare it to our achievements for the previous periods to get the trend analysis, because it might be for the previous months 10, 12, 11%, so that the 6% is better or lower. Of course, it's better, so that our achievement was improved. But if our results was 3%, 2%, 5%, and the current month is 6.7%, did we improve or the achievement was worsened? Waiting for your opinion. It worsened, right? Because we need to compare our achievement to the previous year or the previous period to get the best answer. This is the first part. What if the market average is 12% and our absenteeism rate is only 6%? Do we exceed or lead or lag the market? Are we better than the market average or we are better than the market, because you need to keep the absent rate as lower as possible so that we are better than the market, because our employees absent for only 6%, while the other organizations have about 12% absent rate. So that the lower for the, by the way, the absent here is unauthorized absent. It's not related to the authorized, like the leaves, like the medical reasons and so on and so forth. This is unauthorized leave or unplanned leave, which is measured in the absence rate. Let's speak about the cost per hire. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Shawita. Thank you, Kanu. This is great to hear you. I like the engagement. I like the two-ways communication, so that please keep interacting with me. The cost per hire is simply dividing the fully loaded cost of the hiring process over the number of hires. What is the fully loaded cost? What do we mean if we're speaking about the accounting? What is the concept of fully loaded cost? The fully loaded cost is the full cost exerted. We mean by this the direct and the indirect part of the cost. which according to the example or to the law mentioned on the board, advertising agency, employee referral, travel costs, applicant and staff, relocation, and maybe the recruiter salary and the benefit also. So we are calculating the entire cost exerted to capture number of hire. Let's say that I incurred a cost for about $10,000 to attract 10 new candidates or 10 new colleagues. What will be the cost per hire? It costed me $10,000 to gain 10 new colleagues. What will be the cost per hire? I'm waiting for the answers. I'm going to shout loud out for the one who is going to give me the right answer on the chatting. Total cost divided by 10, right, Suman? It's $1,000 per candidate. How can we calculate it? Yes, Shuita, you are excellent. How about the cost of executive time in terms of salary who were part of selection process? Will we include? Yes, we are going, because we are speaking about the fully loaded cost. Let's say that we are having an executive member attending the committee for hire, and the salary for this executive is about, let's say, 10,000 per month. He provided me with 1 day. We need to calculate the salary per day and add it to the calculation. This is the exact way we are calculating the cost per hire. Of course, we cannot say that whether this matrix is better or worse until we compare it to our performance for the previous year and we measure it against the performance for the coming period. I think that we need to take some break. I think that after completing this slide, we need to take some break. Am I right, Yavir?
Yes. We can take for 5 minutes of break or maybe 10 minutes as per your wish.
Yes, just complete this slide and take a break. Okay. Health cost care. The health cost care is dividing the healthcare cost, which is the fully loaded cost done for healthcare provider, over the number of employees eligible and enrolled in the plan. This matrix will determine the extent to which organization is putting consideration for the people wellness and welfare. And this can be added to the value proposition provided to the employees in the recruitment advertisement. We are one of the organizations that's spending a lot on people's health. The last one before the break will be HR expense factor. To what extent the HR expenses like payroll, like benefits, like training, like wellness, all amounts spent on the HR comparing to the operating expense or the OPEX. We mean by OPEX the operational expense. Assess the amount of HR percentage as a percentage of total expenditure, which indicates the degree to which HR factor is important and worth spending for the organization. So far, so good? Excellent. Thank you, Bir. Let's take 15 minutes as a break. Is it okay? 15 minutes. I will come back. Okay, I will come back after 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
2 p.m. we will be joined back, correct? 2 p.m. India time.
Yes, it will be according to the Eastern time at Cairo and Saudi Arabia. It will be 11:30.
Perfect.
Okay. Bye. See you then. Welcome back.
Thank you, Rami.
Thank you, Veer. We will wait for 1 extra minute for our colleagues to come back from the break.
Yes, please. So till others are joining with me, I would like to, ask one question that
Sure.
when it comes to HR metrics and HR metrics that we are discussing, so if you can help audience to know the context also, that how well to choose which metric, and how to align with your objective, the organization. So in that part, if you can cover a little bit on it, that would be great.
I'm sorry, I did not get you. I'm sorry.
So I'm saying that there are many metrics that we are discussing, correct?
Yes, we are going to speak about average about 10 to 15 metrics today.
Yes. So all the metrics may not be relevant all the time.
No, you need to put in the monthly matrix different from the quarterly matrix, different from the yearly matrix, and this is what I'm going to give at the last part of my session for today.
Okay.
We need to differentiate. We need to differentiate. Thank you. And by the way, we are having sorts of matrix that is available for manufacturing organization, different from service providing organization, different from construction organization. We are just having here examples of the matrix. We are having nowadays about thousands of matrix. So what might work for your organization might not work for my organization. We are speaking about the idea of using analytics in the workplace. And we are having just examples of the matrix. I think we say, start.
Mr. Rami, would you
Yes.
be also talking of lagging and leading indicators?
Sure. Okay, allow me to start. What is the leading and lagging matrix? The leading is projection matrix. We are expecting what will happen. We will expect the manpower plan. We are going to expect that we are going to need 12 employees for the coming years. This is the leading indicators for the future. And the lagging is just a matter of interpretation. Why we spent thousands of dollars on recruitment? We need to interpret the issue so that the leading, we are speaking about the future, and the lagging, we are describing or illustrating the reason for happened situation. Did you get the result? Did you get what's the difference between leading and lagging?
Yes, Mr. Rami. And I think the combination of the two helps in taking a decision in terms of, do we need to do a lateral hire, or do we need to do a entry-level hire? Or do we need to grow people versus hire?
Excellent. Do we need to buy or build?
Yeah.
I mean by buy, recruit from outside, or build, which is building our own capabilities to have the succession planning in place. We need to compare between both in terms of, as you mentioned, leading and lagging indicators. Leading is we are going to project or to be ready for the future, while the lagging, we are going to explain the past events to get the better idea on buying or building. This is an example if we use the two indicators in terms of succession planning. We can put them into place when it comes to performance management. We can mix between the leading indicators, which is the forecasting for the future, if it comes to forecast for the coming year performance or the coming year production, while we will depend on the interpretation for the past year's performance to get the better idea or the better understanding about to what extent we were able to manage our performance or our result for the previous year. Am I right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my dear. Okay, let's continue speaking about examples of matrix. Human capital ROI. This is an example about the result ROI, the result KPIs, the result matrix. We are speaking about to what extent the people function or the human capital generate income as a result for the investment exerted in the human capital, so that measuring return on investment ratio for employee. Did the organization get the return on their investment? The organization is spending in compensation, in benefit, in healthcare, investing in training, investing in bonuses, investing in different aspects of employment. We need to measure the result received by the organization in return for this investment, so that we are having the simplest calculation on the board. Revenue excluding operating negative compensation and benefit divided by compensation and benefit. This simple calculation will return to us the contribution of the human capital and the success. Let's say that we are investing $1 or $2 million for the human factor or for the human capital. And we receive in exchange for the $2 million, $20 million. So that the return on investment made in human factor is huge. And the coming year, as my friend mentioned, the leading indicator, if I'm asking to improve the budget for human resources by 10%, it will easily be approved because they noticed that we are having lot or high ROI on the human capital. This can easily be concluded. So that due to the projection of the value of the human capital, I can easily secure the required budget by proving the value, as Jack Phillips means, proving the value of the human capital. Jack Phillips is the father of ROI and among one of his students. As Jack Phillips mentioned, we need to prove the ROI of the human capital. So that the highest the ROI, the easiest we can get approval for the budget that we are. And by the way, we are all attached in preparing the budget nowadays. Any one of us is not preparing a budget? We are all preparing the budget for the coming year. So that by calculating the ROI for human capital, you can easily secure the approval for the coming year budget. And by building the business case that is including the ROI for past 3 years, you can easily build in the mentality of the management or senior management team that we as a human capital will improve the productivity and improve the results of the organization to the extent that we can easily get what we want. Time to fill is, as I mentioned before, is efficiency metric. We mean by efficient to what extent we were efficient in using the time. It can be easily calculated by dividing the total day elapsed to fill a requisition to the number of hire. And I'm going to give you a simple calculation. Let's say that we took 1 month to hire 6 employees. What will be the time to fill for this organization? $30 days or 1 month to fill 6 places. A result come 5 days. Thank you, Akshay. Thank you, my friend Singh. Okay. Tab, is this good or bad? This number declare that I'm working in an efficient way or non-efficient way. Need to compare. Excellent. We need to compare it to what? Previous. Excellent. To get the trend analysis. And also to the market to get the benchmark. Also to business to ask. Excellent. So that we need to keep in mind that the absolute number will not deliver the needed result. We need to compare it to our performance in the previous years to get the proper trend analysis and to need to compare it to the performance prevailing in over the in the industry or in the country, to benchmark myself against the market or against the industry. This will provide an insightful result to be presented to the senior management team. Of course, the turnover cost. What is the turnover cost? How can we define the turnover cost? Or standard turnaround time. Acceptable, Monica, agreed. What is the turnover cost? But for the business hire took 30 days, we cannot happy with 5 days in that term. بص شوف يا كانو, it is just a matter of averages. And for the averages, it needs to be compared. This is matter of estimation in order to get an idea about to what extent we were efficient in managing time and in managing in managing money. And I'm now asking about the turnover cost. What is the turnover cost? Because when dealing with CEOs and chairmen, we are keep saying that, okay, let them go. If they are not happy, okay, just fire them. We are having a lot in the marketplace. We can easily hire another one. Is firing the people, is firing an employee, is as easy as the Mr. Chairman or Mr. CEO can imagine? Of course not. I had a client from one of our Arab countries. I think I remember it was Kuwait or Emirates. I cannot remember. The HR guy come to me and keep saying that my CEO is saying that if he is not happy with the work, just let him go. الباب يفوت جمل. الباب يفوت جمل in Arabic means that we will be happy to lose him or her. This is not true, because the company will lose a lot if we calculated the turnover cost. And you need to make your CEOs or your senior management team put their eye on the total cost for the turnover. Turnover cost can be estimated by adding cost of separation plus cost of the vacancy plus replacement plus training. We are having 4 components. Separation, what's said to be the severance package. What is the severance package? What is the separation cost? Okay. Getting back the equivalent trained talent. This is the replacement plus training, Akshay. This is not the separation itself. The separation is the severance package. It is the amount of money that is going to be paid to the left employee. Let's take a mathematical example. I can easily give you a story about Rami or about Ahmed or about any name. Let's say that we're asking Matthew, we are having Matthew, no Matthew. We are having Ted. Ted is an engineer, and we are firing Ted. We are going to pay Ted 4 months as a severance package to leave. And the monthly salary for Ted is $5,000. So the severance package for Ted will be 4 multiplied by 5 is $20,000. This is the cost of separation. Of course, cost of separation will be much more higher, yet this is the easiest way to calculate amount of money paid to left employee, including excellent. This is an excellent definition. As Muhammad Basha, I finally found. Hello, ya Muhammad. From where? Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Emirates. What is your country, ya Muhammad? I think Muhammad is from Egypt. Am I right? India. Welcome, my friend. Type. This is the cost of separation, which easily can be calculated by the amount of money paid for the left employee or the severance package, plus replacement and training. And by the way, replacement and training and the separation cost are sorts of tabulated costs, because we can easily knock the door for our colleagues at the accounting department, and we can keep asking them, what is the amount of money spent on the severance package, on the recruitment or replacement, and training? But for the vacancy, it's a matter of estimation. We need to estimate the cost of leaving the position vacant for X amount of time. How can we estimate this? We are having two ways of estimation for the vacant place. It's either by the simple estimation or by going to the second metric to calculate the total cost for temporary working plus independent contractor plus other outsourcing plus overtime, deducted wages and benefit not paid to the vacant position. This calculation will provide me with the vacancy cost. And according to other way of calculation, we can estimate it by multiplying the salary. Okay, we are having a raised hand. Go ahead, my dear.
Vacancy cost can also be for, depending on the type of company. Like if you are a services company, then the cost of revenue that cannot get billed for the vacant position that we are not able to bill a person for. In a product environment, it is the time lost because of tacit knowledge loss with the person moving out of a position, and till the person's position gets filled, then the additional amount that you have to pay others to kind of get the same time to market of the product.
Agreed. Totally agreed. 100%. So that we are having either to calculate it using the vacancy cost calculation available at the last of the page, at the last part of the page, which is summation of temporary workers, independent contractors, other outsourcing, overtime, plus lost productivity, which is a hidden or unknown part of the job, excluded the wages and benefits. Or we can easily estimate it. And the estimation is based on our previous experience. For the banking industry, it's estimated by multiplying the salary, monthly salary of an employee multiplied by 3. Let's say that the left employee's salary is $3,000. You need to multiply it by 3 to get the vacancy cost per month. So are indifferent, either to calculate it by estimation or to calculate it by the equation. This will provide us with the turnover cost. You can easily conclude that it will cost us a lot for one employee to send outside the organization. So that we need to orient or to make our managers and senior manager team aware that for each and every employee fired out of the organization, we are losing a lot. This is beside the intangible item. What is the intangible items? The loss of morale, the loss of people might feel unsafe in the place, the loss in customer satisfaction, because me as a customer, I used to go to Rami, I used to go to Ahmed, I used to go to Veer, I used to go to Juhi. She is my best customer service representative. And now I come to the branch, I could not find Juhi, I could not find Rami. Where is this guy? Brand reputation, excellent, Juhi. Salary hike is the implicit reason by the poor boss or poor work environment of a toxic work culture. This is a great term, Ya Muhammad. Toxic work culture only pushes the workforce to go out, to stop. This I mentioned, we can create a positive. We are making awareness that the healthy or the safe place to work is top important for the organization by putting such a metric in place. We are raised the awareness of our senior management team that we need to make a safe place. Please get rid of this toxic culture. Because this toxic culture, what is the difference between a tiger and an elephant? How will you define the cost of separation? By the severance package. Easily. what the amount of money we are going to pay for the amount for the left employees as a severance package. Okay, I asked the question, Juhi, you would like to answer. What is the difference between tiger is ferocious, elephant is friendly? Yes, but elephant is very big and heavy, and that cannot move very fast because it lost the agility, while the tiger is small but agile. For our industry, agility is a top important nowadays. So that one colleague mentioned, please reply. Allow me to read what. Even though good environment policy, there are at a time salary ceiling. Company faces a lot of issues. How to tackle that? There are employees in company since last so many years. Now they have touched the highest slab ceiling that profile. What to do that case? Please reply. Okay, Yashitan, this is very simple. Sending employee out does not always be due to the salary ceiling or touching the ceiling. It might be due to what I mentioned in the example was not due to reaching the ceiling, because we are having lots of conditions that keeping the employee constant without raises for certain amount of time until the ceiling is opened. We mean by this, Rami's salary reached the ceiling of the scale. My current salary is $5,000 per month, and this is the ceiling. Okay. This can easily be tackled by, at each year for the coming 2 years, you are not going to receive a merit raise, but you are going to receive bonus and profit share. Equivalent bonus for your job and profit share. Until the moment either you are promoted or we are having a new salary scale that allow me to give you a raise. This is from the practical world we are going to do. I hope that I replied in a proper way. By providing him or her incentives. No, incentives is going to make the monthly salary increase the ceiling of the job. And we mean by the ceiling of the job, you are becoming a red dot. Red dot is exceeding the maximum. But instead, we are going to provide the lower possible amount of incentives, but we are going to provide bonus, profit share, and maybe promotion if you are eligible for a promotion. By promoting this employee, you are moving him or her from the current salary grade to another salary grade. And of course, the other salary grade will have a new ceiling, so you can easily improve the amount of money or the monthly salary. But if this employee is not eligible for a promotion, it is enough to provide him or her with profit share and the bonuses for the coming 1 or 2 years. Of course, in 1 or 2 years, the salary scale is going to be revisited. And by revisiting the salary scale, you are opening the ceiling. And by opening the ceiling, he or she will be eligible for more incentive. Agreed or not agreed? I'm waiting for your answer, my dear Shital. Thank you, Ashish. Okay. I wish Shital is still with us. Thank you, Shital. Okay. Let's move to other matrix. I know that it's very small. It's a compare ratio. I mentioned compare ratio at the beginning of my session. Compare ratio is the comparison point between the pay rate for an employee to the pay range or the midpoint of a range, either inside an organization or at the market. If we compare the pay rate for the midpoint internally, we are tackling the internal equity. If we are comparing the pay rate for the midpoint for the market as a whole, we are tackling the external equity or the market equity or the degree to which we are competing our salary is compatible against our compatible. So we can say that if the compare ratio is 130%, 130, so that we are leading the market because the average salary at our organization is at 30% exceed the market. So what if the compare ratio is 70%? Are we lead or lag or match the market? We are lagging. Excellent, Yasin. We are lagging the market because we are paying 30% lower what is the prevailing rate of the market. Also, total company compensation expense. We need to compare salaries plus overtime plus benefit plus bonuses to the total incurred costs. This is another thing. We are having another fantastic, I think we mentioned one metric like this in the previous slide. I need to focus on the human capital value added. We mentioned we need to say that by human capital value added, the degree to which this is also a result metric. We need to use this result to put into consideration the contribution of the human factor in the organization success or in the organization profitability. We are going to divide the adjusted profit over the FTE. What is the FTE? Waiting for an answer.
Full-time equivalent.
Excellent. Full-time employees or full-time equivalent. For the full-time employees, is the employees available in the database? But what is the full-time equivalent? The full-time equivalent, I may have some people working as a part-timer. They are only work for 4 hours. So for 2 employees, we are having 1 full-time equivalent. So that full-time equivalent employee, including the part-timers as an equivalent for the full-timer. Yani, let's say that we are having 100 employee as a full-timer and the other 100 employee as a part-timer. Each of them is working only 4 hours. So that the 100 part-timer is equivalent to 50 full-time. So that if we would like to compare the adjusted profit for the full-time equivalent employees, we need to divide over 150, which is 100 full-timer and the 100 part-timers, which is equivalent to 50 full-timers. So what is the adjusted profit? The adjusted profit is the revenue negative operating expense, negative pay and profit. This is the adjusted profit. This is the way how can we measure the value added generated by the human capital. Thank you, Kanu, for mentioning that. They are 150 FTEs, those who work for 8-hour day minimum. Thank you, Kanu, for mentioning that in the chat. Human value added, we mentioned it before. Human capital, ROI, we mentioned it before. But what is the benefit to the payroll? What is the use for this metric? Why do we need to divide the benefits cost for the payroll cost? To examine the total reward philosophy for an organization. Because if it comes to the total reward aspect, for the total reward, we are having multiple philosophies in place. Some organizations saying that we are a cash-rich organization. To decide the reward strategy, excellent, Yashwita. The total reward strategy. Some organization, like one of my clients, we are a cash-rich industry. We are a cash-rich organization. We are not providing a very good benefits package, yet we are provide the highest possible cash. so that if you divided the benefit cost to the payroll cost, you are going to find a small amount. Yet, if you compare it to the market prevailing rate, you are going to find it lower. But you need to put an interpretation here, because this organization will provide highest cash and lowest benefits. This is another issue. Type. We are having benefits that cannot be translated into money. Like what? Give me an example for the benefit that cannot be translated into money terms. I'm waiting for an answer. I'm not going to say it. Hospital expense reimbursement, this is a cash because we are transferring. Or insurance, it's also cash. This is not a tie. This is not. What about flexible working arrangement? Can we translate it into money terms? What about the work-life balance? Can we translate it into a cash? What about the work environment, a healthy work environment? Can it be translated into cash? Of course, it cannot be translated into cash. So that we need to put into consideration that even though Muhammad mentioned that, even though we have good policies and practices, but most of the leaders are not people leaders. They are just leaders to prove themselves to the management to get privileges and reputation. Okay, Muhammad, I'm totally agreeing with you. Yet, we need to provide the other side. We need to make them use our eyes to look at the issue. You need to be the devil advocate. You know what is the devil advocate? The devil advocate is the one who is going to provide another insight and defend it. This is what's called in the business the devil advocate. So that this ratio might, by the way, one of my clients is spending a lot on benefit, but when it comes to cash, he is not spending a lot. So when we examining this ratio and measure it or benchmark it against the market, we are finding two lots because they are paying a lot to the healthcare, to the travel, car, mobile allowance, and so on and so forth. If we compare the benefits package to the payroll cost, we are going to find a very large amount because they are branding themselves that they are the best place to benefit, not for the cash. So that it is a depiction or reflection for the total reward philosophy for an organization. So far, so good. I think this total care expense is repeated before. I mentioned it before in another place. So we need to move to annual training cost. The annual training cost reflect efficiency, effectiveness, or a result metric. I'm waiting for your opinion. Efficiency, effectiveness, or a result. All, if you want my opinion, Yeshwita, it is not all. It is efficiency, not effectiveness. Because we are speaking about the efficiency of spending money. If we would like effectiveness, we need to measure to what extent. Repeat the question, please. Yakanu, I mentioned the annual training cost per employee. Is it efficiency or effectiveness, or the third part is result matrix? Because we are having the three matrix, the three sorts of matrix. This is an efficiency. To what extent we are efficient when dealing with the training cost? Fine. Let's say that our company normally needs result from the employees, but the efficiency and effectiveness is a significant. Yes, they are all milestones. You are totally right, Ya Muhammad. These are all milestones. Yet, we need also to give a description or give illustration for these matrices. So that I'm giving you an example, a mathematical example. Our organization spent $1 million for training for the current year. Let's say that we are having 1,000 employees as a head count. What is the total training cost per employee for the current year? It's a matter of simple calculation. By dividing 1 million over 1,000 employees, so that the training cost, okay, 1 million over 1,000, as Kanu mentioned, is $1,000 per employee per the month. And as we mentioned before, we cannot say whether this metric is good or bad before comparing it to my performance for the previous years and the industry benchmark. But can't we, if we are saying that we are above and exceeding the normal benchmark at the market, can't we use these metrics to market for our organization as the best place to work for when it comes to training expenditure? We need to market for or to brand our organization that we are among the top organizations spending on training. Because if you are spending a lot on training, this means that we are focused and concerned about our employees' growth. Right or wrong? I think we need to put into consideration that we need to use the matrices, and you need to know where to use this metric, whether to market for myself or whether to be added, in the report provided to the stakeholder, and so on and so forth. Okay. Annual training of hours per employee. I would like to repeat the question. Is it efficiency, effectiveness, or a result? Efficiency, effectiveness, or a result? Excellent, Yakanu. It is an efficiency because it does not measure the amusement or the enjoyment of an employee to the training or the reaction, according to Jack Phillips mentioned. I love Jack Phillips because he is my teacher. He is my I'm one of among his students. So that we cannot use the training hour per employee to measure reaction for the training. Yet it is just an efficiency metric. But how can we calculate it? By dividing the total training hours. Let's say that we are having 10 million training hours and we're still having 1,000 employees. So that the result will be 10 million over 1,000, and we can easily get the result. Fine. If we want to get the result metric behind the training, how can we calculate it? How can we convert the efficiency metric into effectiveness metric? And how can we convert the effectiveness metric into result metric? And then how can we make the result metric into analytics to make decision upon? By having training completion rate, we can easily understand the reaction of the employees towards the training. This is an effectiveness metric. And by having the ROI of the training, we mean by this the return on investment for the amount of money spent. Number of employees completed the training. Excellent, Yashuita. This is an effectiveness metric. Then, if we would like to get a result about the training, we can easily divide the ROI, or the amount of money spent on training, on the contribution of the knowledge, skills, and abilities gained during the training to the productivity of profitability of the organization. And by having the ROI, you are having the final result metric. We can easily use the final result as an analytics to build on when we are taking a decision. So far, so good. Please, if it's so far, so good, just write one on the chatting. Thank you so much. But the turnover rate, which is among, thank you, Muhammad, thank you, Juhi. Okay. We are going to speak about the turnover rate. What is the turnover rate? Turnover rate, the voluntary turnover. People left the organization voluntarily without finishing their contract, without layoff, without asking to leave. It's either computed on a monthly computation or on annually computation. Let's take the monthly form. It is just number of separation during the month divided by average of employees during the month multiplied by 100%. Let's say that the calculation of the monthly turnover rate is about 3%. We need to put into consideration that the lowest, the better. Because if my competitor achieved only 2%, he is performing better than I do. This is one point. And we need to know that it needs to be associated with the cost of turnover or the turnover cost to give the full picture for the management about the performance of our organization. We need to add the turnover rate together with the turnover cost and then take a decision, either to continue the same policy or to change the policy. And this is the reason behind repeating the turnover cost. Turnover cost is the cost of separation, as we mentioned before, the severance package plus vacancy cost plus replacement plus training. This will give us the entire picture about our organization performance. Type. We are having cost of defending employment practice claims. When we are using this metric, this is two important metric, and it is related directly to our performance in safety health. When it comes to employees' safety and health, we are depending heavily on such a metric because we need to compare or to measure to what extent amount of money were paid on defending employment practices. We are going to compare between the preventive measures against the cost of carrying employment practice claims. So how can we compare? How can we calculate the cost of defending employment practice? By adding the EPL insurance cost. What is the EPL insurance cost? It is amount of money spent to the insurance company, plus cost of juridical defending the claim, plus the resolution payout fees, plus the risk of reduction service from an EPL provider. This is a very difficult metric when it comes to calculation, yet it will provide an insight to the management about the practice of liability, employment practice of liability. So far, so good, ya shabab? Right. We are going to speak about the engagement. When it comes to engagement, how do we define engagement?
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, basically engagement is all about what makes an employee, come to work, like each and every day. many people like perceive that engagement is only about, like you can say fun events and team building activities. No, engagement consists of major, like wide range of factors, which makes an employee stay in a company and to be fitted in a company and to be motivated for work every day.
Excellent. This is what I need to work. Motivated to work. Because in HR, we are having what is called ARM technique. Do you know the ARM? We are having what's called the ARM technique. Attraction, retention, and the motivation. If we're speaking about engagement, it's just retention. This is not complete picture. We need to link the retention to the motivation, because many people are motivated as if are employee engaged in company's mission and goals. Thank you, Akshay. But for Shweta, engagement is involvement. This is what I want to hear. Involvement of employees in decision-making process. This is an excellent definition. Involvement. So that I can take the definition sent by Shweta to say that engagement is involvement. Muhammad mentioned that to make employee value feel for organization that employee will fully engage to attain the organization goal. This is another excellent definition. Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, Akshay. Thank you, Shweta, because these definitions provide the full picture. It might be easy to be attracted. Yani, the organizations might spend a lot to attract, and we can attract the employee. And we will be able to retain them. Yet we cannot encourage them to work because they are not motivated. They are not motivated. They want to stay. Why? Because they are gaining lots of money. Employees who gives their 100% to contribute. Thank you, Matthew. But I would like to mention that there is other employees that is going to deliver more than 100%, Matthew. If you are attached or engaged to your job, you are ready or you are willing to provide maybe more than your full power, because you are considering this place of work as your home. You are an owner, not just an employee. Thank you, Matthew. It's exactly. But I would like now to mention that several employees are attached to the organization just to stay. They will continue to work. Their tenure to stay is very long, yet their productivity is very bad, which is called not engaged employees. While other people are engaged. We mean by engaged, they are willing to pay more than they get. Total employee involvement. Thank you, Muhammad. More important. Thank you, Muhammad. This is another issue. Type. We need to cascade or to break it down into 3 metrics. The percentage of engaged employee, we mean by engaged employee as the description we provided before. The people who feel citizen, which is the corporate citizenship behavior. I'm feeling that I belong to this place. My effort is fully dedicated or more than fully dedicated. I'm an owner, not just an employee. And there is people who are in the middle of the road. We mean by the middle of the road, they are neither engaged nor not engaged. They are in the middle. They are ready to stay, but not to participate. What do you want me? I'm going to deliver it, but not more. In Arabic, we are having some term which is على قد فلوسهم. I know that you are not going to understand what is على قد فلوسهم, but على قد فلوسهم is meaning that I am exactly practicing or working according to the amount paid to me. I'm not exerting extra effort. I'm paying equivalent to what I'm getting paid, which is not bad, but not also good. The third, which is the worst form of engagement, which is the actively disengaged employee. They are distracted. We mean by distracted, they are destroying the corporate image, the corporate brand inside and outside. These candidates are ready to leave the organization at any moment. They are not ready to continue working, but also they are spreading rumors with customers, which is the worst part of the scenario, and with other colleagues and with candidates also. This is distraction. Is there any benchmark for these ratios? No. You need, Matthew, you need to take these results and benchmark them according to the prevailing rate, according to your industry and your country. But you need to first to break down the 3 engagement results. The percentage of engaged employees or who are really to exert more than required, and the only neither positive nor negative, which is not engaged, but not also disengaged. And the people who is actively disengaged or destructive. And by the way, if you are having a colleague who is actively disengaged, please consider him as a disease. Needs to be put at the top of your priority. It's either by coaching and mentoring remedies or coaching and mentories, using coaching and mentoring, or even by ending the contract. Because if you are, among one of my clients was working in the food industry, okay? And one of the workers from the blue collars, he was actively disengaged. He took the mobile camera and went to the factory and took picture for the products in the production. By the way, the pictures were fake. It was not a true pictures, but he published it to the Facebook or maybe Instagram, I cannot remember. And they mentioned, look and see, this is the product that you are eating and feeding it to your children. This is toxic. He was actively disengaged. He want to get revenge from the organization. He make the worst possible marketing for the organization, so that this is a timely bomb inside your organization, so that you need either to give a proper treatment for this employee, either by coaching and mentoring, or to get rid of them, actively disengaged. So far, so good, ya shabab. Please either type 1 or the chatting or raise your hand to ask a question. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Singh. Ashish. Okay. Now we are going to move for the last part of our session. I think we are going to have enough time for questions and answers. What are the HR reports? The HR report are important component of the efficient management or the effective management. It enhances the decision making because as long as you are basing or you are taking the numbers as a base to decision making, you will be able to take a sound decision. HR normally engage investors, stakeholders, senior management team, employees, governmental agencies, and diverse type of a stakeholder in either monthly report, quarterly report, or yearly report. Report needs to be based on numbers, matrix. So far, so good. Reports needs to be based on facts. Type. What is the monthly report? The monthly report is the report that HR is going to provide on a monthly basis. This is a routine report that you are going to submit for the senior management team only, with new current activities that needs their fast approval, their fast action, their prompt understanding, as well as obtaining an overview. We need to discuss some sort of action. We need to contribute with the operational manager, with the marketing manager, with the corporate with the corporate يعني departmental heads for management and employee as well. From my point of view, the monthly HR report should contain the turnover rate, the cost per hire, the absence rate, the vacancy rate, the accident and safety issues, the cost per accident, the money spent on claims. From my opinion, these components are the top priority that will need a fast action and needs organization to put into consideration from diverse management. If you are having a monthly meeting with the senior management team, you need to put these components in place. So far, so good? So far, so good? Okay. If you are speaking about the quarterly report, this is something that will require little activities by the HR and will require lot of preparation, so that the HR quarterly management report provide example on routine activities, like it may use to assess performance for the quarter, for the 3 months. It may contain metric, it shows quick wins made by the HR. Here in the HR, we are marketing for ourselves. We are marketing for our job. We are marketing for our partnership, for our strategic involvement to the organization. On a quarterly term, to what extent I was able to participate in a strategic initiative made by the organization. The quarterly report should include all aspects in the monthly report. All aspects should be covered. And the monthly report, it should be available for the quarterly report, because the quarterly report is the 3rd month report, but it will add also the number of training hours during the quarter, because this is a quick win for the quarter. Time to fill vacant position. Employee average productivity. We are here adding little results matrix. Average time to stay, which is the retention threshold. By the way, what is the retention threshold? During the meetings with top management, we keep hearing that the retention threshold is very low, or we were able to improve the retention threshold. What is the retention threshold? Just Google it, please, because I want to get the result from you, not from me. I have a average tenure, excellent, average tenure of an employee in an organization. This is the average amount of time, or the average time that the employee is going to continue to work for my organization. How much time does a new employee stay in an organization? So this is the opposite of the turnover. To improve the retention threshold is to reduce the turnover rate, because they are against each other. So that if in the current quarter, I was able to improve the retention threshold. This is a very good achievement that I need to present during my HR quarterly report. Also, the internal mobility. What is the internal mobility? And what it consists of? Role enhancement. This is a good definition. Movement of talent. Excellent. People transfer within the organization. This is the best definition. People transfer within in a various department, which might be lateral move, promotion, and also sending people from outside in or from in to outside. Internal recruitment. This is another good definition. Number of internal recruitment from one department to the other. This is excellent. To what extent I was able to fill in a position, transfer, promotion, and the cross-training provided, and also the lateral move. As we all know that when it comes to job design, how many initiatives do we have? For the job design, we mean by this to redesign the job, to add or to remove duty, task, and responsibility. If we would like to work on a specific job, we either work on assigning the task for a different employee, so to get rid of the job by assigning the tasks, duties, and responsibilities to the other employee. Let's say that we are having a HC taking larger role. Thank you, my dear. This is the job enlargement extra. So that if we want to get rid of the people working on the printer department or the printing department, we can easily distribute the printing task to the department, and we no longer need printing departments. This is a solution we will work on for the job design. The other part is job enlargement. We mean by this to add another task for the employees. Let's say that I found Rami keeps staying at office. Rami is not moving. He is feeling depressed. Each and every day he is coming to the same workplace. This is dull. This is boring. Rami, we are asking you to go outside the office for 1 day per week. This week you are going to pass by customers to collect money. So you are diversifying the task. This is another story. This is called job enrichment or job enlargement. To ask Rami to do a task out of the office. Is it enlargement or enrichment?
It's enlargement if the task is the same.
Excellent, because we did not assign managerial task to Rami. It is just job from the same job level. Rami was working as a customer service, so that he used to stay at office and receive complaint from customers. But for the 5 days of the week, Rami is going to work from office, but for the 6th day, Rami is going outside the work. It is the same job nature, yet a diversified task. So this is enrichment because enlargement, because it does not require a higher job responsibility. This is enlargement. So what is the enrichment?
Enrichment is when the work or the tasks are diversified. There is a change in the KRAs, basically the various tasks that you are doing. For example, if I am an HR, I'm also taking care of social media.
This is another example of enlargement, because social media and HR might be on the same level. Yet if we are having tasks delegated to you or assigned to you from the top, yani let's say that they are assigning you the authority to sign for checks for over than your normal authority. This is job enrichment. Okay. If they make you responsible for junior employee, this is enrichment. If they are asked you to replace your manager in dealing with an affluent customer, this is not your normal authority, yet it is assigned to you or delegated to you. So far, so good. Additional responsibility require, this is the accurate definition. Additional require higher abilities to perform, and higher ability will require higher authority. This is synonym to the authority delegation. HR working on L&D report and now working L&D strategy is enrichment. Excellent, Javier. This is the typical definition of the impeachment. This should be reported in the quarterly report, because this will require little OD involvement, because we worked on the job design to move to use our team in a proper way, in an effective way, not an efficient way. We are using our team in an effective manner, and this effective manner is going to reflect positively on the performance. So far, so good, ya shabab? Okay. The last part and last slide of our meeting for today is the yearly report, which is the moment of success for the HR. HR yearly report is the most powerful tool. We are using it to put our successes in place and to announce for ourselves and to reserve our place among the strategic directors. We need to be available around the round table. Do you know the round table of a strategic meeting? We need to capture our place. HR yearly report is most powerful tool HR director use to show the value for their contribution to the organization bottom line. What is the bottom line, by the way? Profit. Excellent, Yakanu. This is the term defined, the net profit for the organization. To what extent I was able to contribute to the bottom line or the net profit for the organization. And as much as I contributed to the bottom line, the degree to which the significance or the significance the role I will gain in the organization. It can really put HR as a strategic business partner. It may contain analytics that guide decision making. HR quarterly report may contain, of course, summary of all aspects in monthly and the quarterly report. This goes without saying, because the yearly report is the month number 12 report. Dr. Nepal mentioned that to what extent the internal mobility provide productivity, engagement, or disengagement, and for better product. Is it a comment, doctor, or is it a question? Please illustrate. Do you ask or do you comment? Because if it's a comment, this is totally agreed. I'm waiting for your answer, doctor. Okay, as Veer mentioned, let's postpone the question till the last part, or last 15 minutes of the meeting. The HR quarterly report may contain summary of all aspects in monthly and quarterly report, ROI of HR activities, which is the return on investment. You, as management, provide me with $1, $2, $3 million as a budget at the beginning of the year. By spending this amount, I was able to return value for the organization by $30, $40 million. This is the ROI. This is the real value of HR. The HR has 3 components. What are the components of the HR work? The first part is administrative. We are working on the administrative task, registering people, finishing the paperwork, working on vacancies, working on vacations, working on medical reports, and so on and so forth. This is the administrative part of our job. This should take only 10% of our concentration. Despite, if we come to the reality, this is taking more than 50% of our concentration. Yet, it represents 10% of your success. 10% of your strategic value to the senior management team. The second part is the functional job, which is training, recruitment, performance management, talent management, succession planning, which represent 40% of your significant value for the organization, and actually it takes only 30 to 40 part of your concentration. while we are having the strategic rule, what is the strategic rule? Is your participation in the strategic success of the organization, your contribution in the bottom line, the use of your people skills or inter-people skills to make this organization successful. Because this is the reason behind I find many HR managers from medical background, from engineering background, from touristic background, from any other aspect background, and they were successful more than we as an HR people, because they know how to employ or to use the HR function for the best of their organization. They know how to show the value for HR, as Jack Phillips mentioned. This is the ROI, as I mentioned, ROI of HR activity. Cost-benefit analysis. What is the cost-benefit analysis? And how it is differentiated from the ROI. Okay, the cost-benefit analysis is just a matter of comparison between the cost incurred for HR activity and the value delivered by the HR functions. Just a matter of comparison, not a matter of percentage as a ROI. It's a matter of comparison. For each dollar spent on the HR activities, we are gaining $5 value from the people function. HR benchmarking and trend analysis for the previous year. The HR benchmarking, I should benchmark my job against the industry prevailing result and against the trend for the previous years. To what extent my functions was improved inside due to the trend analysis, comparing to market, comparing to the industry, and the benchmarking. Yearly budget and how it was spent. I should show a breakdown for the amount of money spent on all HR activities, on recruitment, on training, on performance, on bonuses, on monthly salaries, on raises. This will show the efficiency of spend. This will show that to what extent I was able to efficiently spend money or wisely spend money. Next year budget, of course, after putting into consideration all these points, I can easily ask for higher amount of money because I show them the value of HR so that I can easily gain the acceptance or the approval for the coming year value and how it will reflect on business and the expected trend that will arise in the HR market. As I'm just give me 1 second because this is the last point that I'm going to mention. I know that you are raising your hand. I just want 2 or 3 minutes. And we are going to have entire 15 minutes for questions. Don't worry. Type expected trend that will arise in the HR market. As I'm participating as a strategic partner, I should ask for other SMT partnership or participation in my function. Because HR is each and everybody's responsibility. I know that I'm a people consultant, yet each direct manager who is having direct authority over people need to understand what are the HR trends for the coming year or coming 2 or 3 years. So that my yearly report should include a glance or a fast overview about what will be the coming year's trend for the HR. This is my suggestion for the monthly HR report, quarterly HR report, and yearly HR report. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for continue listening, and I'm here to take questions as you need.
Mr. Rami, can I make a comment?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
But on the budget, from my past experience, I've seen it's very important to know what is your run rate per year per budget item. And it tells you also a clear perspective in terms of what you budgeted for, what you spent, and what were the results against those spends. And these results against the spends are also some metrics. which,
Excellent.
right? The second aspect is that when you're asking for money, it's about how does it correlate with specific organizational result that you're going to sign up with, or a business unit ask, or a new initiative, and what is the result that you can provide in that. So summarizing basically is that whenever a HR budget is provided, it's not just in terms of what is the money required, it's in terms of assurance of what you have been able to deliver and what you are planning to deliver, and all is numbers, no English.
This is like music to my ears. This is exactly the full picture. We need to provide financial people and the top management people with how can we align with the organization in terms of money. And in this case, we should provide, as our friend mentioned, the lagging and the leading indicators. The leading indicators, to what extent we expect or we project the results of our job on the financial health, on the health of the organization. While we should provide lagging indicator to provide the organization top management with interpretation about to what extent we were able to manage the amount of money previously granted for us. Thank you so much for mentioning such a strategic point. Who else want to answer? Who want to ask?
I mean, till others are asking question, I have one question. That is there any tool that you would like to recommend, which can help HR professional to generate reports or such kind of metrics that they can present? Any tools that you would like to refer?
From my opinion, Microsoft Power BI, business intelligence. This is the best, from my opinion. This is not a marketing message, but from my experience, the Microsoft Power BI is the best tool when it comes to metrics and analytics in HR. Of course, we are having lots of tools available in the market, yet the Microsoft Power BI business intelligence is the best available tool. What else?
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
So when we compare the indicators, okay, so on the year-on-year basis, we are making a good progress. But when we compare to last month on month, so we are not seeing the improvement. So how to benchmark this?
Okay, this might be due to the seasonality of your job. If we're speaking about tourism industry, the tourism industry, we are having certain months which is high and certain months which is drop. Let's speak about food industry. We are having seasons for the vegetables and fruits, so that for the industries that have a seasonality effect, don't put, you just need to provide illustration for the seasonality effect. But if you compare it entire year for an entire year, you should eliminate this factor, right? So that put into consideration that you will not keep going up each and every comparison, but you need to be ready to evaluate or to comment on either what's called positive deviation or negative deviation, because you might decide to ask for $1 million, but by the end of the year, you will find yourself that you spent only $100,000, but achieved a better result. This is a positive deviation. The top management is going to ask you why, from the first place, you asked for the $1 million. You spent only $900,000 and you achieved better result. This is a positive deviation and needs to put into consideration that due to certain circumstances, I was able to have a positive deviation. At some times, we are making negative deviation. We mean by negative deviation, we mean by negative deviation that you asked for 1,000 as if $1 million and you spent 1,200,000. This is a negative deviation. This might due to inflation. This might due to increase in prices. This might due to change in organization, which require more expenditure. You need to be ready for both sides of interpretation, either the positive deviation or the negative deviation. Okay? Thank you. Who else?
Just one question. How we can integrate this compa ratio along with when we are deciding the increment percentage in the organization in the PMS yearly cycle. So can we integrate compa ratio somewhere to make the pay parity?
Okay. Compa ratio will give you an illustration, whether you are leading, lagging, or matching the market. So that if your philosophy or payment philosophy is to lead the market and your compa ratio indicates that you are getting more than 100%, excellent, you are doing your job, you are leading the market. But what if your compa ratio declares that you are having lower than 100%, which is you are getting below the market, you are lagging the market. So you are going to pay extra amount of raises for two situations, for two reasons. The first reason is this is the expected yearly result, and the second, to retain your position as a market leader. This is one situation. The opposite situation will happen when you compare your average payment to the prevailing rate in the market, and you find yourself exceed, but your philosophy is to match, so that you should keep the base of raises slow. We mean by this, we are not going to improve the salary raise too much. So that when we are driving a car, when driving the car, we are having the oil and we are having the gas and the brake. This is how we drive the car. So that the compa ratio will provide us with a guidance. Do we have to press more on the gas to make fast movement or to increase the salaries more? Or do we need to press on the brakes because we are far ahead the market and we are having a space for moving slowly when it comes to salary increase? Right? Did you get it?
Right, I got it. But another point is like in a company itself, if we are not comparing from the market, if we are comparing within the company itself for the different roles and all. So
this is
can we treat like this ki if the compa ratio is more than 100%, so for that particular it will be a individual base, but for that person we can, or for that department we can fix the minimum ratio of the benchmark for the increment percentage, and where the compa ratio is less than 100, then we can increase more.
Allow me to speak about the internal equity for 1 or 2 minutes. By speaking about the internal equity, we mean you are gaining amount of money related to your participation to the organization success. And this is the definition of the internal equity. The organization needs to be equitable when it's treating its employees. This is the basic term we need to put into consideration. Why? If you are having employee who is exceeding the average by 20% when comparing the compa ratio for the inside organization, we need to ask ourselves some questions. The first question is this employee is an extraordinary performer? We mean by this, is he a super performer? Yes or no? If he is a super performer, this means that we are achieving internal equity. This is first part. The second part, is this person stayed for a long time at the position? So that we need to speak about what is the reason behind this person is not promoted yet. What is the reason behind not promoted this employee? This is another question. So what if this employee is neither good performer or long stayer or long tenure? Can we say that this is equity? Of course, this is not equity, because this employee is gaining more than the average with no reason. He is neither performer nor stayer. Okay, so that in the coming year, I should put into consideration that the merit raise or the salary increase for this special employee need to be considered. Did you get me? The comparison, the other or the other side. If an employee which is a very good performer and getting lower than the average, so that the result might be lower than 100%. Yani we mean by this employee is a super performer. Yet when we are comparing the compa ratio, we are finding 95%, 90%, 85%. Why don't I provide this employee enough to match or even to be more than 100%? This will be a retention tool for this employee, because we are not paying enough amount of money for this employee. So using the compa ratio or using the entire type of matrix to make a decision is the final result of this session. You need to put into consideration, before making any decision, to put into consideration the facts of the numbers, the impact of the numbers. So far, so good, ya Parveen?
Yes.
Thank you, Mike. What else? We're having still 3 minutes. We're having a room for one question.
Hi. So how can we present the HR matrices which performed well last year, but this year we face some revenue dips? So how to present in the budget? So
revenue what?
So revenue dips this year.
Lost.
Lost.
Negative. Okay,
Negative.
indicator.
So HR matrices performed well, but revenue dips. So next year we have to ask in the budget that we should have this kind of training budget or something like that. So how to present?
My recommendation is keep the dashboard at your pocket. All in this situation, especially we as HR performed well, but the organization as a whole did not perform. So that I should keep my dashboard in my pocket, because all manager in the organization is going to saying that this is the HR mistake. So I should put the dashboard ahead. The second part, I should fully present a business case. The business case should present the reality of the business performance. This is the second part. The third part, I should provide, beside the dashboard and the business case, I should provide a complete presentation about the relation between the failure of the organization, despite of the effect, despite the performance of the HR. So that in this time, I should be proactive, not to wait till the end of the year to prepare all this. From the middle of the year, the sign will be available. You will find the sign that the organization will not achieve. So that make meetings with managers before the end of the year, to make them aware that this is not the mistake of the HR. This, how can we be proactive? This is the 3 advices. having the dashboard, complete business case, and being proactive by meeting with each and every head of department to declare the situation clearly before the end of the year. And thank you so much another time. Thank you, Veer.
Thank you,
Juhi,
Dr.
over to
Rami,
you.
for this informative session.
Thank
It's
you so much, my
wonderful.
dear.
Any more
Thank you, Saad.
questions? I don't think so.
Thank you,
Let's,
Juhi.
yes, so I would like to just conclude the whole session and thank you, Mr. Rami. It was a wonderful session, and so some insights, deeper insights in this 3 hours, as you said, this was too short of a time to know about metrics. But yes, whatever it was, you have received already few messages of appreciation, and I'm sure there are many who have not typed, but definitely will share the feedback with us. So thank you for the insightful information that you've shared about workforce analysis and people analytics and how to prepare the HR matrix. It was really an honor and a privilege. I'm sure I'm saying this on behalf of everybody who's present here. It was an honor and a privilege to hear and learn from you. Additionally, I would like to thank all those who are here from India and across borders. I'm sure you have taken up some insights which you're going to practice in your organizations and walk away with some useful information shared by Mr. Rami. 2 more points I would like to add on here. Congratulations to all those people who have been a part and have earned the pre-certification credits. You will soon receive a mail from Core HR IR with the certificates and the 3 global credits for your recertification. And some have typed in the chat about the session, and we would also like to hear from others about the session. So a feedback form will also be shared with you, wherein we would want you to give us suggestions, how we have done and how can we enrich the masterclasses in the future. So, Mr. Rami, thank you so much. And thank you
so much for having me.
The audience as well. Thank you. Over to V, sir, if he wants to add on something.
Thank you so much, Rami. It was really an insightful session, and I'm sure that it helped people to learn about the concept of the metric, HR metric. And would love to have more sessions with you in future also. Thank you so much.
This will be my pleasure, my dear, because working with you is a true pleasure for me. Thank you so much, Veer, for hosting me today. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So I think some people wanted to know how you can join the Core HRII group. So I'm going to type our website where you can find all the information. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.